I'd be getting on Keisha's nerves. When we watch a scary movie, Keisha will be like, Amber, shut up. We're all trying to watch the movie. And I'll just be like all into it. Because it's like when you watch a movie that you're real into, you can't help but feel like you're actually in the movie. Because I get sympathetic. Because about the characters in the movie, I can't help but feel bad for them. So then it skips to like 20 years later. The new generation of kids they were like in college. And they thought it'd be fun to go to this haunted house. The same one where the first generation died. And they heard in the newspapers all these kids that died that were in the haunted house. And the one lady that didn't die, nobody ever saw her because she moved far, far away. But she was the only one to beat the game. So finally, when they got to the second generation, the game started out with I think it was 8 people. The first dare, one of the, it was actually a treat. The first person that had to go, the card popped up and it said, I think it said I slept with so-and-so, and apparently this girl slept with her best friend's boyfriend because the spirit fed on people that had secrets, fears, or anything that makes them sad, anything they're guilty about, or pretty much anyone that had sinned or did something real bad. It fed off of that energy. It's just all bone. So the first person was female. She slept with her best friend's boyfriend. And as soon as that comment came up, the friends didn't even know, except her and the other guy. And the girl, she tried to lie, but she wasn't very good at it. She pretty much said, I hate this game. This game is stupid. I don't want to play anymore. So then the guy who initiated the game, he's like, so did you do it or not? Tell the truth. And she's like, yeah, but it was only one time. It was just a one-time hookup. So her best friend felt so betrayed, she walked out of the room. And then the boyfriend said whoever wrote that on the card is dead. Because he was mad that anybody knew about it, because he didn't know how no one knew. Because he didn't tell anyone, and neither did the girl who he slept with told anyone. So then they were actually starting to believe that there really were spirits in the house. And it was starting to get real. So then finally the dare goes to the girl's boyfriend. He got the dares, but it's every dare that he had to do was just, he got it the worst. He got hurt the worst pain. from everybody. His dare was he had to put his hand on a burning stove. He refused to do the dare, so the dare ended up doing him. The spirit pushed a chair into him, and then he ended up falling on the stove. Well, he ended up falling, stumbled, and his hand was stuck to the stove and burnt his skin off. Like, his skin was still, like, remainders of his skin were still stuck on the stove. I was so grossed out I couldn't even look at it. And then the second person that had to do a dare was one of the girls that went along with them. Her dare was she had to eat the flesh that was still on the stove. She had to eat it. And she had like 4 minutes to do it. Like, they would give you a dare and then give you a time. Like, how many minutes you have to do this dare. Otherwise, if you didn't do the dare, you'd end up dying. Or if you got a truth, like if you had to tell the truth about something and say you lie, you would say lie or die, and whoever lied, they'd end up being killed instantly. Like, one of the girls had to eat the flesh off of the stove of the guy whose hand got burnt on the stove. And then one girl, the card asked her, "Are you a drug addict?" And she said, "No, I'm not a drug addict. I swear, I'm not a drug addict." And as soon as she said that, a 2x4, the door opens, she's pushed outside. Spirit pushes her outside, and the 2x4, as big as this table, about that big, this thick, falls on top of her and crushes her. She died instantly. She ended up going to the hospital, and they tried to tell the people at the hospital what happened. They didn't believe it. They did not believe that the house was haunted. The only thing they said was that it was a freak accident. And the stuff like that happens all the time. With like old houses. So then they didn't want to go back to the house. But then the kids were all talking about it. They're like, we got to go back because if we don't finish this game, we're all going to die or something's going to happen to us. But they didn't end up going back to the house just yet. They ended up going to their dorm rooms at the college, which it was like community college, but it was, I think the college was like an hour away. They end up trying to get out of playing the game. So they go back to the college, all of them. And the kid who initiated the game, the spirit ends up following them to college. And what happened was, writing ended up on the walls, like red writing was on the walls, and it said, "Hang yourself." And it said you have like 2 minutes to hang yourself. You have to hang yourself for 2 minutes. And he refused to do it. So they basically made special effects happen, but it looked real. Like the girl who said that she's not a drug addict popped up in his room, bloody and like looking bloody and dead, like a corpse that came back to life. So she comes in his room and she said, "You know, you got to do the dare or you die." Or no, you got to do the dare or the dare does you. Coconut chicken bone. So the spirit locks his door. He can't get out of his room. He's pulling on the doorknob, screaming for help. And he cannot get out. So the spirit ends up putting the rope around his neck. Grabbed his body and hung him. And I'm sitting there watching the movie. I'm just sitting there practically yelling. Or not yelling, but I'm just sitting there saying, like, you know that struggling is just going to make it worse. Because I'm not going to say I know about this because I don't, but I'm just saying, by watching the movie, I would think that if you're moving around, if a guy's hanging himself and he's just moving around, I would think by struggling, it's gonna make your death. It's gonna make the death even more torturous and gonna kill you faster. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, maybe if he hung himself and wasn't moving around, he just hung himself and stayed still, maybe then he wouldn't have died. But he was so scared that he was struggling and moving around trying to get off of the rope or trying to get out from the rope. All that did was cut his breathing. And he ends up dead. And by the time he was on the floor with the rope dead, oh no, he wasn't on the floor. He was still hanging, but he was dead. Finally, the spirit opened the door and let his friends in after he was dead. How ironic. I hate seeing people die in those movies, especially like young kids. Those kids were looked like they couldn't have been older than like freshmen or sophomore in college. Like they were real young. That just scared me. That was a water machine. Remember, I thought there was a spirit in his room. So next person that had to do a dare was one of the star baseball players that was going to the college. And what happened with him? Well, actually, he had to do two. He had to do more than one dare. He had to do two, actually. His dare. The first dare he had to do in round one was he had to smash his knee with a baseball bat. He didn't have the guts to do it. He asked his girlfriend to do it. She hit his knee, but it didn't count because she didn't have the guts to smash his knee, so he asked one of his friends to do it. His friend, the one that got hung, or the one that hung himself in his dorm room, he ends up smashing his knee, and he ended up walking on crutches. So by the time him and his girlfriend, they finally go to bed, they get up, and the spirit, as soon as the girlfriend went to the bathroom, the spirit wrote on the wall and said, what did that say? Oh yeah, it said, rob a gas station. And then it wrapped the covers. He got off the bed and it wrapped the covers into the form of a number 9. And so it said you have 9 minutes to rob a bank. And his girlfriend was trying to talk him into it, or out of it. And he's like, I gotta do this. I don't have a choice. If I don't do it, I'm gonna die. So he ends up going to the gas station with her. And weirdly, a gun appears in his bed. So he went to the gas station, didn't wear a mask. He goes there without wearing that what they call it? That that hat that covers your face that people wear in the winter time, but like people that are gonna rob a bank will wear. He wasn't wearing that. He showed his face, and he went there looking non-intimidating at all. He just looked like a regular person. Went to the gas station looking like a scared kid who was running from something. So he asked the lady, he's like, I need some money. He's like, can you please give me some money? I don't have time to explain, just give me some money. It doesn't matter, give me $1 or something. And she was acting like she couldn't understand what was going on. So then he pulls the gun out of his pocket and points to her. He's like, give me the money. Give me the money now. You don't have time to explain. Just give me the money. I'm not going to shoot you. Just give me the money. And he turns and looks at his girlfriend because she's right outside the door looking at him. And before he could do anything, the lady behind the counter pulls her gun out. Her gun was bigger. Her gun looked like it was like big enough to hunt a deer. It was about this big. His was like that small. She pulls out the gun. She's like, shh. She has the gun pointing to him. And he's like hassling her about giving him the money. Now, he wasn't going to shoot her, but as soon as he reached over to get that money, she shot him instantly in his chest. He went flying. Like, he went flying backwards, and the whole floor was covered in blood. And the girlfriend, she just jumped in the car and got the hell out of there, because she knew the camera was just sitting there watching her. So the girlfriend calls the friends, and they all meet, and so they go over to the lady's house, the one that ended up doing the dares and beat the game. And she was telling them, like, you guys got to share the dares. You guys got to try to make it to round 3, and you need to try your best to stay alive. It got harder and harder as they kept going in the game. Like the next person that ended up going in the game was the last guy standing. Now his dare, he had to get hit by a car because he did a hit and run in his past and never told anyone about it. He ran somebody over by mistake and he drove off and never told anyone. And because he didn't report it or anything, it ended up coming back to haunt him.